So let's talk about specific purchases. We're going to start with vehicles, all right? And this is, I think, good information for any vehicle you ever buy from here on out. Number one rule, buy used. Don't go buy a new vehicle. If you know what depreciation is on a vehicle, I don't know if you do, but basically when you buy a vehicle at its maximum value, right, when it's brand new, no one's ever driven it before, its value plummets in that first year. It goes way down. And so if you try to turn around and sell it a year later, you're not going to get anywhere near what you paid for it. And the second year, it's still going down. And third, it's the first 3 or 4 years, it goes down really fast, right? So what you want to do when you purchase a vehicle is, it's going to be the same philosophy for all these, any kind of big purchase, is get the least of what you need to be able to get around, all right? Go ahead and splurge on a super nice, cool, whatever car you want, or sports car, when you're a millionaire. And when that cost for purchasing it is a small fraction of what you're actually earning, all right? Are you guys familiar at all with the term lease, like leasing a car? Do you know what that is? Okay. So leasing a car is basically renting a car. It's like you can go get, and it's always brand new cars. You go out there and you give them a bunch of money every month to rent this car, and at the end of 3, 4, 5 years, you give it back to them, and you don't own the car in any way whatsoever. It's their car. So you spend all the money on that super, sharp period where it's losing all its value. You pay for all that value, and then you give it back. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. But people do it all the time. And they lease cars because they like to drive brand new cars. But then they end up with nothing. Honestly, I don't understand it. So don't do that. Don't lease a car. Cars, if you can, buy them without financing. What I mean by doing it without financing is don't buy them on a payment plan. Try to get it where you can buy the car completely up front. Now, obviously, first starting out, that's very difficult unless you buy like the cheapest hunk of junk that you can find, for like $1,000 or something like that. Save up your money from working and boom, you buy a car. But those things tend to break down a lot, right? So it's buy the least amount of car that's a functional car that you can. But try to buy without financing. Try to make it a fraction of what you make. And case in point here is up until 3 years ago, I never had spent more than $10,000 on a car. I was very proud of that. Every car that I ever drove, and I was making plenty of money, but I was never spending more than that on a car. The car that I bought this past year was $115,000 brand new. Okay, but I didn't buy it brand new. I bought it when it was 6 years old, and again, that value had dropped off like crazy right after I bought it. And because it was kind of a luxury vehicle, they drop even faster. And I kind of did some research, and I figured out that around 6 years is like the sweet spot, because it's falling and then it continues to go down in value every year, but it slows down a lot right around that 6-year mark. And so I looked for cars that were around 5 to 6 years old, but with really low miles, because the prices dropped a lot and it slowed down, but it's still new enough to look nice, and the low miles means that it's still going to last for quite a while. The lower the miles in my mind, the newer a car it is, regardless of the year. So what would you think, just if I had to ask you guys, what do you think like the most common car brand is among millionaires?
Millionaires?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Ferrari, and Lamborghini.
You think sports cars?
Yeah, exactly. You immediately think like Lamborghini, Ferrari, something like that, maybe a Rolls Royce or something crazy like that, right? No, it's Ford, right? And that goes to show that people who are making wise financial decisions to get themselves to become millionaires, they know that cars are not investments. These things have depreciating value. They're going down in returns. They're using their money for better things than that. So, yeah, surprisingly.